Hey everyone, Casual Console Gamer here, and I'm finally back from vacation with another review. I thought I would ease myself back in by checking out some of the sales on the Xbox and PlayStation stores, and I came across Harry Potter Quidditch Champions on sale for 60% off. Quidditch Champions released in September of 2024 on Xbox and PlayStation consoles and PC, with a Nintendo Switch release in November for $30 US. So how did a game that's only been out for a few months already receive such a steep discount, and is it worth picking up on sale? This review is going to answer that question.
Every Quidditch champion's journey has to start somewhere. And for many, that's in our own backyard. In our minds, the garden is a grand Quidditch pitch, and wind blowing in the trees is a roaring crowd. Can you picture yourself playing among your heroes?
Quidditch Champions is boring. You can criticize it for the way it looks, its attempt to simplify its gameplay and make the game of Quidditch into an actual sport with better rules, but at the end of the day, the real problem with Quidditch Champions is that it wears out its welcome pretty quick, even for $10 US. There are only two real game modes: play the short career against bots, or play online against real players, and a mix of bots. That's pretty much it. Sure, you can customize your characters and upgrade their abilities, but it doesn't change much, and unlike say a FIFA game or any other sports series, there isn't much managing the team here, choosing tactics, or building your franchise. Quidditch Champions just sticks with Quidditch, and it gets pretty boring. But we'll talk about that more in the gameplay section, but for now, let's focus on the graphics and the technicals. For the technicals, Quidditch Champions runs really well, with no slowdowns or crashes or any server issues. However, there is one major point of concern that it will make some players not want to play this game. There is a mandatory login to the WB servers. If you don't have a WB account, you will need to make one. The claim here is that it's required for crossplay by WB, but there isn't a way to avoid it. This is the case for the PC version on Steam as well. Once you log into your WB account, you'll also need to make a Harry Potter website account in order to get some exclusive gear for your character. This part you can skip out on, but if you do choose to make a Harry Potter account, you will also need to answer some questions in order to get sorted to a house, since the gear is tied to the house you're given in that website. So two separate logins, as well as your PlayStation or Xbox account login. Quidditch Champions is an online game, so make sure you have an Xbox Live or PlayStation Plus subscription to join in matches online.
Each team has 3 chasers. They're the heart of the Quidditch team, if I do say so myself. That ball is called the quaffle, and a chaser's job is to, well, chase it. When the other team has the quaffle, our chasers need to get it back at all costs and bring it towards the opponent's goal. And working as one, throwing the quaffle through any opposing goal scores our team points and brings us that much closer to victory.
For the graphics, Quidditch Champions doesn't have a lot going for it. Each map is only really a Quidditch pitch with a little bit of stuff on the outsides to see for flavor. The characters all have a very cartoony look to them, and most of the career content is just character portraits talking to you. It's a game that could have run on a PlayStation 3, which makes me think that the Nintendo Switch version was the baseline and everything else was pulled down to it. The characters themselves have very little customization, with only a few options for faces or hairstyles to choose from. When Quidditch Champions was originally announced, I thought it was going to be DLC for Hogwarts Legacy that had been ripped out and made a separate release, but the graphics for this game is nowhere near the same level as Hogwarts Legacy. In the game proper, the frame rate stays at a consistent level, but the gameplay makes it hard to see what's going on, and to be honest, the character customization doesn't really matter at all in-game, since you can barely pick out what anyone looks like when you're playing, except for the times when a character catches the snitch or scores a goal and they're highlighted on screen for everyone to see. Like I said, it doesn't really have a lot going for it. Moving on to the story, there really isn't any. The career mode is just a long tutorial to teach you how to play the game with 4 different levels. You're playing a game at the Weasley's house to start with some familiar characters forming one team, and then you slowly building another. Then you have the House Cup, where you are at Hogwarts and you pick a house and you battle it out to the top. Then you have the Triwizard Tournament, where you pick amongst Hogwarts, Beauxbaton, and Durmstrang. From there, you pick a country, from amongst 16 to choose from to play in the World Cup. These events are all against bots and feature the characters from the books and the movies. But this isn't a story, and like I said before, this doesn't have a career mode that allows you to make a franchise like Madden. It's just a tutorial to get you ready for multiplayer.
Quidditch would be rubbish without the keeper guarding the goals. A good defense can make all the difference in a match. Your team's keeper has one very important job: stop that quaffle from going through any of your goals. Being a good keeper requires the tactical mind to predict where the quaffle will be shot and the agility to stop it. With their vantage point, a keen keeper inspire and guide their chasers as well. It may sound like a lot of responsibility, but nothing beats the feeling of single-handedly saving a goal.
Okay, let's finally talk about gameplay. I'm going to assume you are familiar with the game of Quidditch, but I'll give you a few points on how it works in this game. You play in one of 4 positions. You can be a chaser who takes a ball and throws it at a net for points. You can be a keeper who blocks the net, a beater who hits a flying ball at other players, and a seeker that looks for a snitch. Now, this game simplifies Quidditch by restricting the match to only 1 beater, 3 chasers, and a keeper. The Seeker is like a special character that appears every now and then along with a golden snitch. Unlike real Quidditch, catching the snitch only gives you 30 points in this game, and it doesn't end the match, it keeps going. Getting a ball in the net gives you 10 points. The match ends when the first team reaches 100 points or after 5 minutes of playtime. So right off the bat, the Seeker isn't very fun. When they do appear, you just chase the snitch around in this sort of small mini game and ignore everything around you. You chase the snitch for a long time, trying to speed up and go fly through rings, and you eventually catch it for 30 points. But if you're a really good player, like a good chaser, you could have scored probably more than that in the same time frame. So playing the Seeker isn't really worth it, in my opinion. Plus, it becomes really repetitive. Once you've caught the snitch once, it's never any different and never really takes a different path through the pitch, since the Quidditch pitch is just so small. For the keeper, or goalie, it's really boring. Anyone who has played goalie before knows that it can be dull. You're mostly watching the action with brief bits of gameplay when people get close to you. The game gives you something extra to do by allowing the keeper to create these speed rings for a boost throughout the match, but it's not that important. So that's 2 of the 4 positions down, and they are both kind of lame and repetitive. But when you have the chaser, that's when it starts to get pretty good. You're speeding around the pitch, chasing the ball, tackling other players to get the ball and score. It's fun until you realize that the bots are dumb, and you can basically just speed down the pitch as low to the ground as possible, then whip the ball into the goal ring that's furthest from the keeper and score pretty much every time. So in my opinion, it's the beater that is the funnest to play. It's essentially just about creating chaos, hitting people from the broom so they can have a timeout, whipping a ball at people. You just cause havoc. It's not super productive, and I was never sure how much good I was actually doing, but it was enjoyable. For the game modes themselves, you have the career where you play against bots, which we already talked about. You have 6v6 where you play against a team of other players, and 3-on-3 where the additions are filled with bots. Now, before I go more into the multiplayer, we should talk about the progression system. Aside from customization of your team and characters, where you get hats and shirts and stuff, which has no microtransactions, by the way, which is very fantastic, you are giving enough resources to buy whatever you want in the shop, but you can also level up your characters. This makes them faster, throw the ball further, and all that other stuff you would expect. It also means that people who have been playing the game longer, not only are they more experienced and skilled at playing, but their characters are overpowered, which leads into the multiplayer. If you're new and still learning, you're going to get stomped, partially because other players play better, but also because their characters are max level and have all kinds of bonuses that you just don't have yet. Imagine this. You're playing an RPG where levels go from 1 to 100, and you've played the single-player campaign, you got your character to level 10, and you finish the story. So you want to try out the PvP, and you face off against a level 100 characters over and over again. That's pretty much the multiplayer. Eventually, you do get the good stuff, and you'll be skilled enough to hang with the big kids, but it's going to take getting your face put into the mud a lot until you get to that point. Honestly, for a game that becomes repetitive and boring pretty fast, it's not really worth sticking around to get those skills.
Quidditch is magic. So ask yourself again, do you have what it takes? Do you have the heart of a Quidditch champion?
Alright, that's it for another review from the bargain bin. So, is Harry Potter Quidditch Champions worth playing? Whether that's at full price or on sale? In my opinion, no, it's not. Quidditch is one of those games that might sound fun in a book or in a movie, but when you play it, whether in real life or in a video game, the flaws start to show. I'm the Casual Console Gamer, back from vacation. I hope you're enjoying the content, so please like the video, leave a comment below, and consider subscribing to my channel. I'll see you all in the next review.